It wasn't quite as action packed as yesterday's half 12 kickoffs, but the Scottish Premiership bottom six delivered somewhat. Welcome back to the channel. And we've got three games, of course, to talk about some red cards, some 11th place Jama? No, drama. I mean, it was obviously a straight shootout between Dundee and Ross County. The actions of Nick Walsh, right? The actions of Nick Walsh, St Johnston, right? Maybe they could have put a wee bit more effort in the day if they weren't robbed on Wednesday. But the less said about Nick Walsh, the better. I guess we can save that for the review show, right? But let's kick off with the first game of the day. So Kilmarnock nil, Hearts won. Hearts ending on a positive manner, despite Danda getting sent off pretty early in the game. I believe it was the 29th minute, and then a late Stephen Kingsley goal managed to get the Jambos over the line. Of course, I mean, all the drama really to do with this game is the fact that Derek McInnes was no one ever dug it. Yeah, he's not, nothing's official. Well, I say nothing's official. Liam Fox, he's out the door though. That is official. There's no, definitely Hearts are not getting Liam Fox anymore. There'll be no fantastic Mr. Fox, but it could be big man Derek McInnes that could be laying the smackdown next week, and I think that's what it's going to be. A weird one because I think at the start of like a couple of days ago, you could have seen Big Derek in either dugget, and it turned out he ended up in none. But disappointing for Killie. When I seen the notification for this game that a team was down to 10 men, just due to Killie's pure discipline, I expected it to be them. But a good win for Hearts at Rugby Park, and you know what? Whether it's Liam Fox or whoever it would have been after Critchley, I think the last bunch of games for Hearts has just shown how bad of an appointment Neil Critchley was. The guy ain't good enough. Hearts, I mean, I know some people say you're stating the obvious with this. He will never in a million years get close to managing a club the stature of Heart of Midlothian. And that's not me, bigging up Hearts as like as if they're Real Madrid. That's me saying Neil Critchley is shite and he will never have a team take a chance on him like Hearts did. No idea why they did. They did. It completely and utterly flopped. They crashed out of the Conference League ridiculously early, absolutely embarrassing. I mean, just the league form's been brutal, man. Playing Shankland as a 10, and yeah, Naismith started doing that, but it doesn't mean you copy me. He also didn't win a game in 19. Critchley somewhat copied them in that department. Shite, shite results across the board for Hearts, but in the split they've stepped up to task like we would expect them to do. Critchley's gone. The teams around him are nowhere near as good as Hearts can be on their day, and that's kind of proven it. So yeah, Killie nil, Hearts 1. Ross County, they needed to win the day, and they needed Dundee to drop points. That didn't happen, but they did take the lead here against Motherwell, and then Motherwell managed to get that goal back. So Ross County, I mean, the big news is they have finished 11th. It will be Ross County against Livy. I mean, I'll be honest though, I do obviously. I think most of us want Ross County to stay up over Livy. I mean, I like Martin Day. I like the fact he lost his voice the other night, screaming at his players. He's a funny guy. He has a good character. The reality is his team's shite, and I don't want I don't want them anywhere near the league. That's it. But saying that, I would much rather Ross County finish 11th than Dundee because with Dundee, just a better club than Ross County. You've got the Dundee derby that comes along with it and all that good stuff. But here, I like Ross County. The Highland club, the furthest north club in Britain to play in the top flight. That's I like that. I like those wee bits of trivia. Who's the big Ross County, big Dingwall. It's a lovely place, and yeah, hopefully they can beat the Jabronis for Livingston on when is it? I think it's Thursday. I think it's Thursday, Sunday. So yeah, I mean, as much as we can sit here and say the season's over, there's a few more games to look forward to. Obviously, them and a certain Scottish Cup final. But I tell you what, one of those ties is definitely less predictable than the other one. Right, then our final game, St Johnstone nil, Dundee 2. It could be very easy to look at this and say, look, Nick Walsh is the man. It doesn't matter. St Johnstone would have went down anyway. The mindset completely changes in this game, right? See the fact that St Johnstone were already down, that's helping only one team here, and that's Dundee. And Lyle Cameron grabbing another goal. Tell you what, looking forward to seeing him in a Rangers shirt next season. The big Umbro! Lyle Cameron partnership, yeah, should be interesting times ahead for Rangers. Looking forward to it. But that's it. That is your bottom six recap. SPFL review show sooner rather than later. And I see the amount of people greeting about the Nick Walsh decision. Oh, you haven't shown the correct image. Yeah, on the thumbnail, right? It may not technically, well, it doesn't show the ball over the line. Rewatch the video and tell me there's no proof the ball's not over the line, man. Why can't we all just agree that Nick Walsh can't do his job? Huh? It's not just Rangers, it's fucking every team, man. The guy's incompetent. Crap. Can't believe how bad that decision was yesterday.